At ease, brothers. Man, I want to share with y'all something today, man. You know, I can get on here, man, and we can talk about some lighthearted things. We can talk about some areas of life, man, that help us elevate. But today, brothers, I want to share with y'all, man, by far the most impactful piece of information I've ever obtained. You know, and I'm talking, when I say ever, I mean ever. I'm talking about from being a young man that grew up in the church. You know, my father was in a pulpit. I'm talking about all the books we talk about, the Master Keys, the Bible, the Quran, the Kabbalion, and all these other books, man, that have inspired us. I'm talking about even with some of the mentors I've worked with. I'm talking about even some of the lectures I've gone to, right? By far, the most impactful piece of information that changed my life, brother, was this, man. So I was in Egypt, right? So I'm in Cairo, right? And I can remember as soon as I get there, man, as soon as you hit the airport, it was like the New York Stock Exchange, man. I'm walking through, man, and everybody's trying to present their brochures on products to buy, restaurants to try, tour guides to take. And I just walked through that, man, not amused by any of it. Even though I had really no plans. The only plans I had there was to see the pyramids. And the only thing that I had booked there was a hotel that was right in front of the pyramids, right? I didn't have any transportation to get from Cairo to Giza. I didn't know the good places to eat. I didn't know if there were any unsafe places to go. I just pulled up, bro. I just pulled up in straight nomad mode, right? So I pull up, man, and I get through all the BS, and I'm getting ready to walk outside of the airport, and there's this young cat young cat standing by the door. Young cat, man, and we're still cool to this day, bro. And he came over to me and said, "Hey, where you trying to get to, man?" I told him the hotel, and he was like, "Hey, man, I got a package deal for you, man. I can take you to this place. I can show you the museum. I can take you to the pyramids. I can get you a whole nother hotel, you know, down by the embassy and all this stuff for like dirt cheap, bro." And I'm like, man, this must be a scam. But something told me, man, and it went beyond my intuition. It was straight voice. Voice was telling me, like, you need to rock with this young cat. You need to rock with this young cat. And looking back on it, man, I can tell that this young man, even though I was probably 10, 12, maybe even 15 years older than him, I can tell that he could see something in me that was lacking. Looking back, I know exactly what he saw, right? Because the whole time, you know, we're riding around, the whole time he's taking me to different places, he's just saying different things to me as if to see if I knew a certain thing, right? And I remember, like, I can remember, man, the day he took me to the museum. And we went to the museum, man, and he was like, on the way there, he was like, you know, like when you get in there, you know the statues and the things you will see in there. He said, you know they're black people, right? And I said, like I never really thought about it. I said, you know what? I've seen pictures, and I said, yeah, I'm sure there are some black statues in there. He was like, yeah, they're going to be black people in there, like the statues and stuff. And he's saying that as if a lot of people that pull up don't know that, right? And he's just kind of asking me questions, man, about what I did and X, Y, Z, just trying to feel me out. Cool guy, man. And we get to the museum, and he's walking me through. He's showing me, you know, some of King Tut stuff, and he's telling me a lot of practices and rituals that King Tut had, and water rituals, and the relationship movement, and all kind of stuff, man. And it's really just kind of, it was just kind of giving me insight on, I don't know, man, just kind of giving me insight on something that I can't even explain. It was kind of filling a void, man. Anyway, man, after you know, a day or two, man, we going to all these spots. We're going to all these dope restaurants, man. We taking, you know, cruises down the Nile River. We just having a blast, man. And I could tell that the brother really wanted me to know something.
I can show you all of it.
And he said, man, I'm going to take you to this store. Of course, he didn't call it a store. He said some other name for it. And he said, I want you to meet some people. And I'm like, that's what's up. you know. So we go to this store, man, and as soon as I walk in, man, there's these three what he called, to be prominent men in that community. There's these three men, man, talking to a fourth man that was standing there. So I spent the next few minutes kind of just walking around this store, man. There were all kind of things for sale there. I think there was like, jewelry there. There was like pottery there and art there and all this kind of stuff. And after these three men were talking to this other guy and the other guy left, the guy that I was with, man, told me to come over there and sit down with them, right? So I'm sitting down, and as I'm walking up, man, they're speaking straight Arabic. They're all just talking together. They're talking, they're laughing, they're talking, they're laughing. And I'm just sitting there for a few minutes, just kind of like, all right, bro, like I'm sitting here. I can't really fellowship with y'all brothers the long way because I don't know what y'all saying. And then I can remember these ladies, beautiful ladies, man, hijab down. They brought some fruit and water in, right? And it was almost like when they brought the fruit and water in, that was like the cue. You know what I'm saying? The cue for them to like, all right, we done with this. Let's talk to this young cat, right? And they kind of just talking to me, man, just trying to feel me out, asking me what I did and what I think about Egypt and all this stuff. And then there was this one cat, man, he was a little bit more serious. I think he was the only one that spoke English because I don't remember the other two really speaking to me directly. Anyway, the brother just swapped gears and he said, like, you know where you are, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, I know where I'm at. And he said, like, your people built this place. And I can tell he's getting ready to get in some deep conversation, man. And he's talking a lot of stuff, man. He's talking a lot of spiritual stuff. He's talking about a lot of stuff that I'll be honest, man, we don't talk about in the West. I can tell you this right here now, brothers, man. I can tell you, I fully understand now why a lot of things over there, they don't even want to come to the West. Pertaining to people that look like this. I'm fully aware now on why they want a lot of information to stay over there and not come over here, right? So he's giving me all this game about Kemet and all this stuff, and he's just laying it out, man. He said, this is your land. Like, your people built this land, right? And let me say this real quick. Like, I understand now. It never really made sense to me. Like, when you hear different cultures talk about their history and where they came from and how their great granddaddy did a certain thing from Ireland and all, like, in my mind before, that never really had an impact on me. Like, I never heard things like that. I never heard people talk about their ancestors and thought that it had any meat to it. But I'm gonna tell you this, brother, when you know how your people moved, that you came from, it has an impact on you. It has an impact on you. Like I understand now why a lot of black people in the West move the way they move with lack and doubt and all this stuff. Like, if you don't know where you came from, it's really hard to move in the most confident of ways, right? But that wasn't even the knowledge. That wasn't even the knowledge. That was just him just kind of letting me know where I was, right? The gears swapped, man, and the brother started getting very esoteric, man. The brother asked me something, and it's the same question I ask y'all brothers all the time. Like, when I say who are you and where are you going, this is where this came from, bro. This is exactly where it came from. These brothers gave me something that changed my life. So the brother said, who are you, man? Who are you? And I sit back, man, my little chest pumped out. I said, yeah, man, well, this is what I do, man. I'm on YouTube, but this is what I do for a living. I work for this place. I grew up in this small town like this. And the brother just cut me off, man. And he looks back at his brothers, man, and he's talking this Arabic, and these brothers just start laughing.
Hospitality at its finest.
ده مرة كنا بنعمل حجة انا ومراتي وبعدين كانوا محوطين الحته بتاع الاتوبيسات ومراتي شافت الاتوبيس ابو دورين قالت لي اركب الاتوبيس ده. قلت لها انا نركب الاتوبيس ده ايه؟ قالت لي لا انا عاوز اركب الاتوبيس ابو دورين. دخلنا واحده رزعتها كده وجابتها كده.
And he looked back at me again, man. He said, who are you, man? And I'm giving him information like, did the brother not hear me the first time? I'm giving him more data, man. Well, I got a sister, man. My pop died when I was this year's man. And this is what I do. And these are my dreams and aspirations. And he just reaches out and starts talking to the other brothers again, man. As if I don't know if it's just like to ignore me or if he's having two conversations. I can't tell because it's not English. So, I'm partaking in the fruit. I'm drinking the water. And then the brother stands up, man, and almost violates me, man. The brother gets up in front of me, man, and just touches my head and says, who are you? And at that point, bro, I didn't even know what to say. Like, I was out of freaking answers, man. And the brother sit back down, man, and gave me game on game on game, man. And we spent the next couple of hours talking, man. And he told me, he said, man, the most important thing you will ever know. He said, the thing that I use, the tool that I use to build this that you sit in now, the way that I live, man, it's all about your identity. This is why I speak on this so much, brothers. He said, everything is based on your identity and nothing else. And he was like, when you understand this, man, your drive to try to show people who you are will vanish. Because that's irrelevant. People always trying to show people who they are is how most people move. And he was breaking it down to me, man. He said, it's very hard to always be in a state of showing people who you are and knowing who you are. And he said, when I ask you who you are, I'm talking about in this mental space, not what you portray to the world, not what people think you are. Like, who are you in your mind? Because this is what's governing everything, man. And I say this, brothers, because this. I know for a fact a lot of y'all are saying this. A lot of y'all are saying to yourself, you know what, man? I do all the right things, bro. I'm a faithful husband, man. I take care of my kids. I pay 10% tithes. I do all these things that society tells me to do. Why is my life jacked up? Like, why is it jacked up? Like, why can't I get a break? Why can't I get enough money, man, to have a little bit of excess? Why can't I have happiness in my life? I'm telling you this, bro. It all comes down to your identity. Every single thing you're experiencing is coming down to who you say you are. Most people have no idea that if life is shitty, they're telling themselves, I'm a shitty person. Like my life is supposed to be shitty. Like you have no idea, man. And I say it different ways all the time. You have no idea how powerful your truth is. How powerful your truth is. And to be honest, man, and this is a lot of stuff that me and these guys were talking about. And some of the stuff they were talking about is stuff you can pick up in Neville's work, in Napoleon's work, in Singular Truth, on steroids. They broke down like this world, man, it ain't what you think it is, bro. Like, this world is an illusion. And I know when people start talking this kind of talk, people get lost. Because people are so convinced that this world is something else that when you start talking about this real shit, you really lose a lot of people. But I'm telling you, brothers, as soon as you understand that this world is the illusion, when you stop trying to show people who you are and just becoming, embracing who you are in your mind, man, it'll never be the same. It'll never be the same, man. So your identity is everything. Who you say you are is everything. And the thing about that, man, is, like I'm always saying, a man must fall in love with that other world. Like when you go into your meditative state, when you go into that let me visualize state, when you go into that world, if that world is the same as this world, like if you don't love that world more than this world, man, you're not expanding, bro. Or some people, I'm gonna tell you like this, some people don't even go to that world. Sometimes the only time most people go to that world is when they sleep. And when they sleep, if they're unaware that they're in that world. And if you're unaware that the sleep state is that world, then you're going to take all this BS from this third dimensional plane back over there and create with it. So when life is in a loop, when life is in cycles, when life keeps giving you the same thing over and over, and you're saying, bro, like the amount of love I put out, man, the amount of the way I take care of my kids, the way I'm faithful to my wife, like it's not adding up. Like, why don't God give me a break? It's like, who are you? It's who are you, bro? That's the most important question a man can ask himself in life. And if a man fully understands that piece of information, everything else is irrelevant. Everything else is irrelevant, man. Your identity is everything, bro. It's everything. But even this, like even if you know that your identity is everything, you still have to have a spirit of expansion. You still have to have a spirit of expansion. And I can remember not the young brother, man, but the old school that was sitting beside me. I remember him telling me kind of how he grew up and kind of what he went through now and kind of how he got to his M's and how he built not only that store, but several other businesses. He was telling me, man, that he allowed himself to expand. In other words, whenever you go into that mental space, and it might not be you sitting in a chair meditating. You going into your mental space might be you in the gym working out. It might be you driving down I-95 or Interstate 20. Whenever you go into that mental space, like dare yourself to expand. Dare yourself to get to that 6-figure mark. Dare yourself to hit $250,000. Dare yourself to experience living in a home bigger than you thought you could. Dare yourself to get the cars and have certain type women and certain type friends in your circle. Like, dare yourself to go there and own it, man. Dare yourself to go there and own it and live in it and walk in it. And I promise you, man, there's nothing on God's green earth that can stop you from obtaining that. I took that information, man, and came back, bro, and my life was never the same. My life was never the same, man. And I'm not sitting there saying that I've mastered life because I know this. It's a part of self-mastery. It's like once I saw myself in that situation, man, I started seeing myself and started giving myself the ability to quantum leap. I started daring myself to think. I start waking up every day asking myself, who am I? Not only who am I, but where am I going? What's my mission? Because think about this, man. If you don't know your mission, how can you create your identity? If you don't know your mission, how can you create your identity? And that's why I always come back to the point, man, where I say most men, like one of the most important things, man, is really knowing your purpose. Like a man without purpose isn't even living. Like a man without purpose can't be living. He can't be living. Because if your identity, if your expansion is based on who you are, then what is it you're creating? Like, what is it you're creating? If there's no vision, how can you create a version of a man to obtain a certain objective? You have to see what's required of that man to accomplish that. I'm gonna tell you this, bro, man. Your identity, man. If you can convince yourself that the information coming out of that television, that the information coming over the airwaves, if you can convince yourself, man, that some of the things that the people you've grown up with, some of the things that your parents, the way they see you, if you can convince yourself that all that's irrelevant and you can just see a version of yourself in your mind and you can live from that space, man, you writing your own ticket. You're creating your own reality at that point, brothers. If you can convince yourself that the image that the Bible speaks of is you, that you can literally speak anything into existence, by becoming a certain thing, everything else is irrelevant, man. Everything else is irrelevant. Who wins this election tomorrow is irrelevant. All this other stuff that people give us to get worked up about and worry about, it's irrelevant. Whether you're going to heaven and hell if you don't pay your 10%, it's irrelevant. Everything becomes irrelevant, man. Once you tap into that deeper side of self, man, and identify yourself. Because the thing is, you know, and I say it's the most important thing, but to be honest, man, that may be the only true path to finding God. It may be the only true path to finding God. Where two come together, I am there also. In other words, when this ego mind, and I say it all the time, when this ego mind and this spiritual mind come together to create one singular truth, one mind, one identity, God is there also. It's a lot of y'all going to church every Sunday, man. It's a lot of y'all putting fat amounts of dollars in the collection plate, man. And those are beautiful things. But a lot of y'all still haven't seen God, man. A lot of us still hasn't seen, we haven't seen God yet, man. We hear about it, but we hear about it and we can probably feel that energy once we get in a collective situation. But I'm talking about you being isolated in your mind and tap into that God spirit. I really just don't believe a lot of people have done that. Because I believe when a person does that, a lot of things that we get worked about on this planet, a lot of things that work us up, a lot of things that we see different between us and other people. I don't think that a person that has had fellowship with God can still partake and get worked up about certain things or hate their brother. I just don't think a lot of people, I don't think once you taste that, I don't think you see the world the same, man. I don't think a lot of people will conduct themselves the same. So all I'm saying is this, brother. By far, the most important thing that I've learned in my life, man, the thing that actually governs my life right now is identity. Is identity, man. When I say that the most important questions a man must ask himself is who am I? Where am I going? I'm not just saying that, man, because it sounds good coming off the tongue. I'm saying that because every single thing that you experience in life is based on that shit, bro. Everything you experience is based on that. Like I've been saying this lately, man. I've been saying a lot more lately, man. Like a lot of people don't understand. Think about this, man. I keep saying it over and over. But think about this. Look at it like this. Look at it as if every single day you wake up. Every single day you wake up, man, like know that the world is waiting on you to tell it what it is, to tell it who you are. The world is waiting on you to say, hey, how should I respond to you, human? And you almost have to conduct yourself, man, as if you're walking with the freaking genie, bro, at all times. And that genie is just sitting there taking orders. He ain't saying nothing to you. It's just taking orders and sending it to the universe. Oh, this is who he says he is, so this must be what we give him. This is who he says he is, so this is what we must give him. That's why I love the story of that's why I love the story that Neville Goddard shared about Abdullah so much. I love that story, man. A black man in the 30s living like a guru when everybody else was shucking and jiving and picking, you know. A man walking around like he knew who he was. Identity is everything. Neville said, I would see Abdullah moving and I couldn't make sense of it. Like how is he violating all the Jim Crow laws? Like how is he immune to that? How is Abdullah sitting in the best seat in the house when the other black people trying to get through the back door? How is he doing that? Identity, bro. Your identity is everything, man. So stand on that shit, brothers, and know who you are.